In the year 2157, Earth is no longer as we know it. Wars, pollution, and rampant epidemics have ravaged the surface, forcing humanity to make fateful decisions. The ruling elite, scientists, and wealthy businessmen have fled to floating cities in the sky, known as the upper cities, leaving those who could not escape behind to struggle for survival in the underworld, where the sun does not reach and the air is thick with toxic smoke. Amidst this harsh social order, Leon Estrada, a 19-year-old, lived in Etheria, one of the most advanced floating cities. He grew up in a life of luxury, surrounded by glass palaces, artificial gardens, and advanced technology. His father, Dr. Adrian Estrada, was a distinguished scientist working for the government, tasked with scientific projects whose details he never shared with his son. Leon had never been interested in what was happening beyond Etheria, but he always felt that there were things being hidden from him. One day, while searching his father's office, he came across a strange document titled Project Purity. The plan included secret maps of the underworld and reports of an imminent danger that must soon be eliminated. Curiosity began to take hold of him. He didn't know much about the underworld, only what the official news said. A place plagued by crime and disease where only deviants and outcasts live. But why did the government have maps and projects related to it? Was there something being hidden from the people of the upper cities? When his father left on a business trip, Leon sneaked into his private lab and stole an access card to the forbidden tunnels beneath the city. He knew it was dangerous, but his curiosity overcame his fear. The next night, he set off on a journey that he never imagined would change his life forever. Through a deserted metal corridor, Leon entered the secret elevator he had found in his father's plans. He pressed the button, feeling his heart beat rapidly as he watched the numbers recede, descending to depths he had never set foot in before. As soon as the door opened, he was hit by a suffocating smell, a mixture of mold, polluted air, and rusty iron. He slowly stepped out, looking around, finding himself in a world completely different from his luxurious city. The buildings here were dilapidated, covered in soot, threatening to collapse. Dim, intermittent lights illuminated the deserted streets, and mysterious voices echoed in the air. There were no paved streets or flying cars, only narrow alleys filled with garbage and stagnant water. Leon had only taken a few steps before he felt someone watching him. Suddenly, he heard a voice screaming, "Stop him!" Before he knew what was happening, 3 armed men with torn clothes and tired faces pounced on him. He tried to resist, but they were faster than him and pushed him to the ground, pinning his hands behind his back. "Where did you come from?" one of them asked. A young man in his mid-20s with sharp eyes and disheveled hair. Leon hesitated before answering, but the man grabbed him by the jacket and growled, "Either you speak or you'll regret it." He took a deep breath and said, "I'm from Etheria. I just came to see what's going on here." There was silence. The men looked at each other in shock before they dragged Leon with them into one of the dark buildings. Leon was led to an underground bunker where he met a woman named Elena, the leader of a group known as the Shadow, a secret resistance organization fighting against the ruling elite. When he looked into her eyes, he saw anger and buried pain. "Do you know what your people did to us?" she said in a cold voice. "What do you mean?" Leon asked, not sure what she was talking about. She pointed to an old screen which showed shocking footage. Starving children, destroyed streets, entire groups of people forced to live in the rubble. "The elite didn't just flee to the sky to save themselves from the pollution," Elena continued. "They deliberately destroyed the environment, releasing toxic gases onto the earth to make it uninhabitable. When some of us started trying to survive, they decided to eliminate us for good. The Purity Project you found? It's nothing but a genocidal plan, and it will begin soon." Leon felt his blood run cold. He didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was right in front of him. Was his father involved in this disaster? Leon decided he couldn't just go back to Etheria and let these people die. He had to do something. Leon joined the resistance, helping them infiltrate Etheria City using his knowledge of security systems. The goal was to reveal the truth to the people of the upper city, to stop the Purity Project before it was too late. But the plan did not go as expected. Their infiltration was discovered, and a violent confrontation broke out between the security forces and the resistance. In the chaos, Leon found himself face to face with his father. "Why are you doing this, Leon?" Dr. Estrada shouted. "They are just human waste. We are building a better world." But Leon was no longer that naive child. He replied with a firm voice, "If a new world requires killing millions, then it is not worth building." With Elena's help, the resistance was able to broadcast videos showing the crimes committed by the government, sparking a revolution within Etheria. The angry citizens began attacking symbols of authority, and the system that had ruled them for so long collapsed. After the fall of the government, the people of the upper and lower worlds began to rebuild society. It wasn't easy, but Leon and Elena led the unification effort, proving that change was possible. In the end, Leon stood in the ruins of Etheria, watching the sun rise for the first time over the lower world. It was a symbol of new hope, of a future where no one was above the other, but all were equal on the same earth. Leon stood in the ruins of Etheria, looking out to the horizon as the sun began to break through the black clouds that had choked the sky for decades. For the first time in centuries, the earth seemed to be breathing again. The old world had fallen. The elite who ruled from above, the soldiers who carried out their orders, the policies that divided humanity into masters and slaves, all had collapsed in a matter of days. But the fall of injustice was not the end of the story, but rather its beginning. In the days following the revolution, the world was in chaos. The people of Etheria, accustomed to living in luxury, struggled to adjust to the new reality. The people of the Underworld were reluctant to trust those they had considered enemies for years. Fear, bitterness, and old wounds filled everyone's hearts. But Leon and Elena did not stop. Together, they worked to rebuild bridges between the survivors, both literally and figuratively. As the floating cities were dismantled, advanced technology was transferred to Earth, allowing the climate to be rehabilitated and pollution to be remedied. For the first time, people were working together, not for power, but for survival. It wasn't easy. Months of hunger, conflict, and rebellions by some elites who refused to give up their power. But over time, something amazing began to happen. Hope gradually replaced fear. Leon was no longer the spoiled boy he had grown up in Etheria, but a true leader not by rule, but by action. He stood by the people, worked with them, suffered with them, and became a symbol for a new generation. As for his father, Dr. Adrian Estrada, he refused to give up his ideas. He chose to remain in his cell, refusing to acknowledge what had happened. Perhaps because he knew that admitting defeat would mean admitting that his entire life had been built on a lie. As for Elena, she became the former voice of resistance, the builder of a new world. She was no longer leading armies, but leading the reconstruction of the earth, piece by piece. One night, Leon and Elena sat on the edge of a crumbling wall, looking out at a new city beginning to appear on the horizon. "Do you think we'll make it?" Leon asked. She smiled as she looked up at the clear sky for the first time in years. "We've done the impossible. We've brought the sun back to Earth. The rest? Just details." And that day, there were no more cities above the sky or below the ground. Just one world, on one land, under one sun. A new ending for a new beginning.